This is going to be a very busy episode. I let me just clarify this by saying like that's a bad loss. Right? That's up there with that 6-0 game is like just brutal loss. Game feels like it's in hand. Even this it's like the 6-0 game like it wasn't too late into the game. This game was just like you go from Yankees are cruising to, God, that was just the worst ending ever. They played bad defense. They struggled to make any pitches. They didn't get an out until like 4 runs had scored already. That was bad. There's a lot to get into. I guess the big thing is going to be, whether Nestor should have been left in or not. But I just ultimately the way I look at it is, hey, how about Nestor Cortez gets a freaking out? Right? We can talk about like Nestor Cortez was at 77 pitches entering the 7th inning. It's at like not that Adam Frazier's a bad hitter. He's been pretty decent this year, but Adam Frazier is a lefty. Garrett, I don't think Nestor Cortez has allowed more than one. I'm gonna double check this. I could be wrong on this. I don't think he's allowed a home run to a lefty this year. If he has, it's been maybe one. I'm just checking. Yeah. Lefties have one home run coming into this game, one double, 6 hits. Spanning back to last year, they had one home run. He's given up 2 home runs since 2022 against lefties. Adam Frazier's not a home run hitter. How about Nestor Cortez doesn't give up a home run to Adam Frazier? I think that's just as important as Nestor Cortez, as Aaron Boone. Like, it's like, who is he going to go to? Like, I
don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Maybe you could argue like he could have gone to Wandy there, but then who gets the 9th, right? And at that point, it's like even when Cortez blew it, quote unquote, the Yankees were still up 1 run. Jimmy Cordero's got to pitch better. Albert Abreu's got to pitch better. Like it just sometimes it just comes down to in the defense. It was bad that inning. They made some really stupid plays. Sometimes it comes down to just, hey, how about you just play better baseball, right? I'm not saying this team's like bad or anything. Like I think this team has played excellent baseball in the month of May. But I think you could agree with me here. Sometimes, we can sit back and say they could have done this, they could have done that, Boone could have done this. But how about I just felt like the team just played like shit in that inning. Like, what did you think about that 7th inning?
Yeah, like, you know this more than I do because I texted you about it before we went live. But, I pointed the finger at Boone for keeping Nestor in too long. And I do still think he kept him in too long. I think he should have taken him out after he gave up a leadoff single in the 7th inning. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because, like you said, that 7th inning was just all around bad. Nestor was bad. Jimmy Cordero was bad. Albert Abreu was bad. The defense was horrific. I mean, nothing was good that inning. So to really point the finger at one particular thing, you're right. You can't necessarily point at one thing when a lot of things went wrong. When really they should have just played much better baseball. You could chalk this up as one of their worst losses this season, if not the worst. I mean, you're up 5-1. You're basically cruising. This game's going quick. They're getting economical outs. They're going fast, and then they just imploded. I don't know what happened, but they just fell apart in that 7th inning. I don't know what it was, but everything dismantled. And then it looked like they would have had a rally in the bottom half of the 7th when they were down 4. Rizzo got the single with the bases loaded. It just almost didn't get past Hayes. If it got past Hayes, it probably would have been 3 runs. It didn't get past Hayes, so it was 1 run, and that's all they ended up getting. So I mean, yeah, I do think you could chalk this up as one of their worst losses this season. Just a complete meltdown in the second half. I mean, games like this happen. I don't want to overreact and freak out. Games like this are going to happen. And prior to this game, they were playing really good baseball. So the hope is really that they can just bounce back tomorrow night. I know Clark Schmidt is pitching and he hasn't been great, but regardless, you just got to hope that the Yankees can bounce back from this because this was a bad loss. This was a game you should have won. This is a game you pretty much had in the bag, and then you kind of just let it go. Those are pretty hard to swallow losses, but at the end of the day, it's one loss. You move on to the next day, bounce back, win the series, and then you move on to the Padres. But those are kind of just my takeaways on the game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, the end of the day is this loss sucks. Like, there's no way to paint this, and this sucks. But as you mentioned, the Yankees still have the 2nd best record in baseball in the month of May. They're still the 6th best record, I think, in all of baseball. If we're going to go from after they win 5 straight to, okay, this team is now terrible, I think that's overreacting. I think that's just kind of living too much on a game-to-game basis. You can be upset that this game happened because I was livid during that inning. And then also be like, all right, just bounce back tomorrow. If you win tomorrow, not that this game goes away, but it kind of just like, all right, you still had a successful series. You just move on. The Padres have struggled a little bit as of late, so you're kind of looking at it like, hey, maybe catch the Padres at the right time and you get some wins there. You just need to go into every series looking to win a series. That's what they did really well early on in the year before they hit that skid. And the bullpen was just bad. Like they didn't have, again, Marinaccio not available. I imagine that if you replay that inning and you have Ian Hamilton or Tommy Canley or Jonathan Loaizaga, I don't think Nestor Cortez is being stretched out a little bit. Maybe Boone would have still gone to him, but still stuck with him. But like then Cordero isn't the first guy out, or Abreu isn't in with runners on, right? There are so many situations that it's like, if only X didn't happen, if Herman didn't get suspended, if this did, these things pile up and you're going to get exposed for getting being in this injured. And they have a 25-man roster right now because of Herman's suspension. So yeah. And I'm going to turn it to the comments here because a lot of it is about that decision. Tasty Pasty says this was not on Boone's fault. Offense didn't come through, run in scoring position. Nestor had to go deep because the pen is beat. I agree. The bullpen's just beat up right now. And with Clark Schmidt going tomorrow, you need your bullpen, right? Like I hate to have to like say it like this because it makes it seem like I'm just being overly pessimistic, but you can't go into a Clark Schmidt start with your bullpen depleted. That will turn out horrifically. You will not win. We saw it against the Rays. They went into a Clark Schmidt start with their bullpen depleted. Albert Abreu gets his shit rocked, right? And yeah, the offense had a chance late in the game to at least scratch and claw and put themselves back in the game, and they blew that chance. I thought the offense did enough to win the game, but they kind of went flat after the big home runs by IKF and Glaber. So, I don't know. I think that kind of reflects our opinion as well on this.
Yeah, I mean, we were going to talk about how IKF had a great game, and then Glaber Torres hit 2 home runs, and we've completely forgot about it because of that 7th inning.
Yeah.
This comment here said, I mean, look, I want to point the finger at Boone because he left Nestor in too long, but at the end of the day, Boone doesn't control the bullpen implosion. So I understand it's not 100% Aaron Boone's fault. I do think Boone could have handled it a little bit better. I do think he did leave Nestor in just a little too long. I understand he had to go deep, and I don't necessarily hate the fact that he came back out for the 7th inning. I don't like the fact that he was still in there after giving up 2 hits. I think you kind of just felt like he was due to give up the big hit, and then the Adam Frazier home run happened, and that was the big hit that put it into a 1-run game. You gave the Orioles life. You don't want to do that. Especially in a series like this. This is a big series. This wasn't like a series that you kind of just push over and just throw some punt lineups out there. No, this is a series you got to win. So I think you have to play this game like a must-win game, and I don't think Aaron Boone did that, which is why I point the finger at him for that. But like I said, at the end of the day, Boone doesn't control the fact that Jimmy Cordero wasn't good, that Albert Abreu wasn't good, and that the offense, like you said, didn't come through in that 7th inning when they had the bases loaded. So, yeah, that's not all Boone's fault. So I won't 100% say this game is on Aaron Boone, but I do think Boone deserves a little bit of criticism for this game. I do think he mismanaged some parts of the game, and I think that's fair to say. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think the move I was questioning was Abreu coming in after Cordero, but even then it's like the bullpen, they don't have Marinaccio and King. I would have gone Holmes. I don't know why Clay Holmes didn't come into this game. Maybe he's hurt. And that's another thing. There is a chance that he might be hurt. Like that, sometimes that happens, right? But Clay Holmes should have been in this ball game. I think right after Cortez, Holmes should have been in this ball game. I know that Holmes isn't pitching to the same level as like Wandy or King, but he's on a 9 and a third inning scoreless streak. I think this would have been a good opportunity to kind of just figure what you have out. But even then, after that, you really just have Peralta. That's the only high leverage guy you have left after Holmes. The bullpen was just depleted, and I'm skipping over a couple of comments here because I want to get to this one string of comments because, look, not that I don't have a tolerance for disagreement, but I'm just gonna I also when people say something, see, when you question Aaron Boone's decision, you present me an alternative. You present me an option he could have gone to, right? And I respect that. That's why I think you're bringing a great insight into this move, right? But this loss is on Aaron Boone. That's the comment, and then right after it is. Why is Abreu, who's asked the game, put Holmes or Peralta or King? King isn't available. King just threw 2 innings yesterday. Did you watch the game yesterday?
We knew King wasn't coming in.
Yeah,
we knew that.
Like, no disrespect. Did you watch the game yesterday? King pitched 2 innings yesterday. Stop saying Boone's an awful manager. Boone cost us games. Boone, you didn't know Michael King wasn't available. You can't comment on bullpen decisions. Stop I have a real problem when people go out and they say we should have done this, we should have done that, and then say we're New York Yankee fans, we hold our players accountable. You don't even know the guys available at the bullpen. How about you just say, hey, Nestor could have pitched better, Cordero could have pitched better, Abreu could have
Look,
pitched better,
the way
Judge
I
should have
see
made a
it,
better
the way I
throw.
see it, yes, like all that is true. You know, I guess I'm harder on Boone for the decision specifically of keeping in Nestor too long. And maybe of course bringing in
But I'm cool
Abreu
with
after
that.
Cordero. I think that's a logical like thing to say though. Whether you agree with me or not, that's perfectly fine. Of course we're not always going to agree on everything we say,
Exactly.
but me personally, like Boone. I do think mismanaged this. I do think it's fair to say that this game is partially on Boone. To say this game is 100% on Boone is a stretch. It's not 100% on Boone. Like the first comment we covered mentioned, they didn't hit with runners in scoring position. And of course, like I said too earlier, Boone doesn't control Cordero imploding, Abreu imploding, which I mean Abreu imploding is nothing new in my opinion. But Boone doesn't control that. Boone controls who comes in and who comes out. And I do think he could have handled that better. I
I think
do think
Holmes
he
should have
could
been in the
have.
game.
And I agree Holmes should have been in the game. Honestly, me and my brother actually had the exact same conversations. We were watching the game today. We said at some point Holmes should have been in this game, and
Yeah.
he didn't come in. The game was close. He should have been in. Either him or Peralta, because Peralta was definitely available as well.
Yeah.
We knew Michael King wasn't available, and we knew Marinaccio likely wasn't available either because he threw 35 pitches last night. Those guys we know weren't available. But you have Holmes and King available. And after the home run by Frazier, I think you need to go to one of those high leverage guys to prevent the Orioles from really getting more damage. And if Holmes or Peralta also imploded, that's on them. It happens. They're not always going to be perfect. You don't blame Boone for that decision. I think, I don't necessarily blame Boone for even bringing in Cordero. I
Yeah,
blame Boone
Cordero
for
was
leaving
fine,
in
I guess.
like he wasn't Cordero wasn't good. I'm going to be honest, he wasn't
But on the
good, but
season, that's what I
but
should
on
clarify.
the season he was fine, and given that you envision bringing him in a 5-1 game and then suddenly it's 5-4 and you have to suddenly rush to take Nestor out, I get that he brought in Cordero there because he was ready. I didn't mind that. I was not happy that he left him in there for an extra two batters after he gave up a leadoff single in the seventh. I already thought possibly bringing him in the seventh inning was like a should he not type situation, not a guarantee. So then he left him out there, and I was like, all right, but if he starts to crumble a little bit, you got to get him out there before it gets bad. He left him in there, and I understand it was a lefty and Frazier hitting, so I understand he wanted the lefty-lefty matchup. But Nestor was losing his command. He was leaving pitches up. It was a little inevitable that Frazier was going to get a big hit to kind of give the Orioles life. It was just it was inevitable. I honestly expected maybe not. I honestly called a home run as a joke when I was with my friend at the restaurant today, but I didn't think he would actually hit a home run. He did. I did think he was going to get a hit though because I saw Nestor was kind of losing his stuff a little bit. So at the end of the day, Nestor imploded in that seventh inning. Boone doesn't control that happening. Boone could have possibly prevented that from making it worse though, if that point makes sense. That's kind of just how I view it.
No, I get what you're saying. Boone could have managed more aggressively, and I think that's a more than fair point. But I personally don't think that Boone's why they lost the game as much as it is. I'm always going to go with when I look at a stat line and see Cortez gives up 4 runs, I'm going to point at Cortez and say, hey, pitch better. You know what I mean? But
And that's
when
fair.
Abreu comes on the mound with runners on the corners and one out, and it's not Holmes, I got a problem with that. I don't love that. If he's arguing, I can understand it. Again, I am interested to hear if in the post game presser we hear something about Holmes. Maybe he's sore. There are some things we'll never know, right? But I think that's the spot you would have brought in Holmes. But end of the day, there was an opportunity for the offense to get themselves back in the game. Cortez should have pitched better to Frazier. I think that was a good matchup for Cortez. Even if you get pulled right after, you just have to. The one thing you couldn't do was give up a home run, and that's the one thing he did. Even if he gave up a single, like now you can say, all right, bring in
And
Clay Holmes or bring in Jimmy
it's reasonable
Cordero.
to be concerned about the home run he gave because it's not like Adam Frazier's a power hitter.
And it wasn't.
Adam Frazier is a contact hitter, and you left the pitch right down the middle, chest
Yeah.
high. If you expect anything less than an extra base hit, if it's not a home run, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
You know
he's
what I mean?
lucky.
Like it was a bad pitch, but Nestor ran out of gas, and I do think Boone should have noticed that sooner because I noticed it after he gave up a leadoff single, after he was cruising, that he was clearly, starting to get fatigued. So I think at that point Boone needs to notice that, and I do think, like you said, he could have managed this game more aggressively, and I think he should have treated this like a must-win game. Yeah, technically, in a late May game, no game is quote unquote must win. But I think you need to treat it like this because it's an important division rival. It's an important game. It's an important series you want to win. You're up big, against a team that has been really good this year. So I think you want to take advantage of the games you are getting against them because, if they face them again this year, I don't know when they face them again, but, if you give them these games, that can make a huge difference. It can. Even if it's just May, they can make a difference when we reach September. You know what I mean? I think that's a fair point to make.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Look, this should have been there is criticism to be given to Boone, but I don't think it's like I thought that Cleveland game when Holmes came in against Ramirez, I was like, dude, what the hell is Aaron Boone doing? That was like, what the hell is Aaron Boone doing move. I think this is more of like I don't love it, but there was a million reasons why the team lost, and I don't think that's number one, but it's close. It's it's up there in the reasons why they lost today. And the last thing I want to get to, I'm not going to respond to anything else about this subject here, not about the Boone decision. I want to hear what everyone has to say about that, but about this. Who cares if King throws 2 innings? Throw King again. If he's hurt, don't throw, but he's healthy, fucking throw King. If Michael King gets hurt because you're throwing him against the Baltimore Orioles on May 24th, do you realize how quickly Aaron Boone gets fired from that? Do you realize this is the same shit that got him hurt last year? He fractured his elbow just being tossed into a random game to mop up innings. I'm sick
I'm just
and
gonna
tired of this
put it
shit.
out here now. Simple as this, we don't even need to cover Michael King after this point. He was not available.
Yeah,
So there's
it's
no
simple
point.
as that.
Simple as that. He was not available. There's really no point mentioning Michael King.
Right. Look,
I understand there's frustration that's boiled over and saying, "Oh, we should have thrown him. We should have." I understand the frustration, but he wasn't available. Got to get a little logical here and realize he was not available. Pitching 2 innings and then expecting him to come back in the following day and do it again, that is asking for a lot. That's asking for a lot of any pitcher. Guarantee you, and I guarantee you too, because he just pitched 2 innings the day before, if we brought him in, even if he didn't get hurt, he would not be nearly as effective. That's not a smart. It's not smart. It's not smart baseball. He literally got a hurt arm because of it. He's already had an injury with it. If you brought him in after he just pitched 2 innings the day prior and expected him to do it again and be just as sharp, you're crazy. You're not gonna. He will not be nearly as sharp. And like we've been reiterating, there's an injury risk. It would be just not a smart baseball decision really whatsoever. And even if it somehow worked, he will then not be available for another 5 days or 6 days. Then you don't have him for a week.
And I want.
If this is the postseason and it's an elimination game, we're in a completely different
King's
territory, completely different subject. King is probably getting innings. Yeah. But this is May 24th. This is game 53, 54 the regular season or 52 even, So
yeah, it's unfortunate. And there's something I want to bring up later in the stream that I think is something we talked about a little bit, but I'm going to get to some of these other comments I kind of skipped over, and I apologize for that. Ethan Smith says, as soon as I quit studying and tune into the game, we blow it. Funny enough, I actually wasn't able to continue to watch on Amazon Prime. First off, Amazon, why can't I access the stream on my phone when I logged into the same account on my computer and access the stream through there? The Yankees blew the game while I couldn't watch the game. I blame it on Amazon. I'm joking, but yeah, that was brutal. That was Christian Aguido, who I think is this is the first time. Same thing with Ethan Smith. I don't know if I've seen these two before. So if you guys are first time joiners of the stream,
to the stream.
Yeah, welcome guys. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Yeah, it was a sad comeback loss. It sucked. It was terrible. Tasty Pasty, I think Tasty Pasty and I think he's kind of in line where we are. Sometimes you just got to pitch better. Sometimes you got to play better. Look, I do think you bring up valid.
This is a valid point right here. This is a valid point right here.
I think it was a team, just as a whole. I think everyone, if you're like Aaron Boone, you're the pitching staff, you're the pitching coach, you're the offense. I think everyone's kind of just sitting down hey, we just all didn't have our. I think
it's completely fair to point fingers at Boone, the pitchers, and the hitters collectively. I think it is fair to point the fingers at all three of them.
The defense, I'd say.
You get the point. Okay, late game hitters. I'll retract my hitter statement and say late game hitting because they did not hit well in the clutch. If you say that, I think it's fair to point the fingers at the late game hitting, the pitching in the 7th inning, and Aaron Boone. I think it's fair to point the finger at all three of them. To point the finger at just one of them is wrong. I think, like this comment said, everything fell apart pretty much. The guy take accountability. Each department of this team needs to hold themselves accountable. Boone mismanaged this game. The bullpen imploded. Nestor fell apart in the seventh. They didn't hit with runners in scoring position late in the game. They didn't really get anything really going in the late innings after they blew that lead. There's a lot to blame here. It's not one thing. It's not just Boone's fault.
And
It's partially Boone's fault. It is not just Boone's fault. That's
and
the
I'm
way
gonna
I see it.
the way I think is I'm gonna tie this also all back to just the fact the bullpen's very depleted. The pitching staff's very depleted right now. That's end of the day. Boone doesn't feel a need to steal outs if he knows Herman. If he had Herman going the last two rounds, if Schmidt was not pitching as poised as a starter, if it was Rodon going tomorrow instead of Schmidt, I guarantee you, Aaron Boone's like, I don't care if I don't have Holmes tomorrow. I don't care if I don't have Peralta tomorrow. I don't care if I don't. That's another thing too. Do you think Aaron Boone was thinking, man, if I don't have Wandy Peralta tomorrow, I'm kind of screwed? I wonder if that was something he was thinking, man, if I don't have to use Wandy,
And that's a very fair point.
tomorrow, especially it's just the fact that Schmidt is pitching tomorrow. It changed, or I guess today. It changes the way you have to make. It's such a. I really, again, it comes down to a lot of different factors. And again, there's something I want to touch up on that we're going to talk about. We're definitely going to get to this because you and I think, are lockstep on this thing. I think you might be knowing where I'm going with this. But Sarah says, what do you guys think they could have done better in this game? What changes do you want to see for the third game of the series?
My honestly, again, she watched this game as well, so she wants to know more about this. So yeah, this is a good question right here.
Do you know what I think the change? Now he's not going to be now. Unfortunately, he threw 2 innings today, so he's not available. I think the change, I would say, and you agree with me, I think Matt Krook just has to be a part of this bullpen. He's pitched too well in AAA. The Yankees don't have. Look, Nick Ramirez, strong outing today. Ryan Weber has been given us.
And it really hurt at this point too to bring him up. What are you losing here if you bring him up?
Like neither Weber or Ramirez are full time. Like gonna continue to pitch well. Abreu has not pitched well in high leverage. Just give me a look at Krook. He's on the 40-man roster for a reason. Dylan, you wrote a really good article about this. I'm going to just hand it over to you and let you kind of take over.
Yeah, I mean, Abreu has not been good. He hasn't been good. When has he been good? Never. I don't think really can really ever say he's been good. He'll have his one decent appearance once in a while, but for the long term, he's been a detriment. So, therefore, why not bring up Matt Krook? You know, Matt Krook is healthy right now. I know he missed some time with an injury, but he's back now. He's been pitching great in AAA. He's a lefty. We could use a good lefty out of the pen. Great strikeout stuff. His walk rate's a little high, but he gets strikeouts. You know, I don't see why you can't try it, man. You know, we've been giving guys like Greg Weissert and Davey Garcia chances up here, and they haven't worked out. Why not give Matt Krook a chance? What can it hurt at this point? I think as the days go on, more and more fans are starting to call out for Matt Krook to come up here because this is becoming more apparent that one, we need lefties to match up with certain lineups better, and two, this bullpen's depleted, like we've been saying. It's depleted. We need something, a better option. The Albert Abreu experiment needs to end. Quite frankly, it needs to end. And no, I'm not blaming this game specifically on Albert Abreu. It is not 100% his fault, but he didn't turn in a good outing once again. It was a close game. His job was to hold the lead to 1 at no more than 2 because he did get an out, but he came in with runners at the corners. There's not much you could do in that situation. It's a tough situation to come in. So his job was to keep the game close, and he put us out of it. He put us out of it, really. So, I mean, I think it's time. You know, this is the, I think, 3rd time now we've tried the Albert Abreu experiment, and it's the 3rd time that it's failed. So, why are we trying it again? 3 strikes, you're out, right? So why are we giving him another opportunity at this point? I think it's time for Matt Krook. I do. Do I think the Yankees will call him up? I don't know. They should. I don't see how it can hurt at this point. And I think he's ready to come to the big leagues too. But at the end of the day, I'm not in the pitching staff. I'm not on the development team. I have no idea what they've been reading, what they've been watching, what they decide is good enough to come here or not. But in my strong opinion, I think it's time for him to come. I think it's time for him to come up here.
Yeah, I think we're kind of entering the territory of like, it's stupid that he's not here. They remember, guys, they put him on the 40-man roster to enter the season, meaning that they left guys off like Andre Chaparro. They were willing to say, like, yeah, I don't care if Andre Chaparro gets picked up for nothing. We need Matt Krook on this roster. There was a report from Brian Hoke that last year in the postseason, the Yankees wanted to have him make his major league debut in the postseason. Look, if you feel comfortable throwing him against the Astros, the ALCS, do you not feel comfortable throwing him over like Greg Weissert and Albert Abreu? You know what I mean? Look, I think it's stupid he's not here, but to kind of like summarize, I think our like overall take here, the change should be, hey, not Albert Abreu, Matt Krook is doing really well in AAA, and the Yankees could call him up and they could add him to their bullpen. They should. Like they need a little more depth there. They need a little spark in the bullpen in the back end, and Krook can give them that. So, yeah. Christian says, as soon as I saw Nestor's velocity go down to 89 miles an hour, I knew he was getting gassed. I feel like this is a kind of like a thing that's happened to Nestor all year. He just keeps running out of fuel. You know what I'm saying? It's the third. He keeps getting gassed. It just like it feels like it's a consistent thing.
The lack of conditioning he got, with spring training, just I think that affected it because he didn't get like full spring training because he's hurt, right? So he kind of had to get rushed up here, and he didn't even make the second start of the season. He made the fourth start of the season, So I mean, I don't even know if he's still ramped up all the way. Do I think that's an excuse though at this point? No, it's May. I think at this point, if you're healthy, you should be fully ramped up. So I mean, yeah, the fatigue drop pretty, only 75 pitches in is a little concerning, considering that usually he was able to get us to 90 pitches while still maintaining the same levels of velocity and control. So, yeah, the dip in it is a little concerning. I would definitely agree. Do I think he's hurt? I don't think he's hurt. I think he needs to up his conditioning a little bit. I think there's, I think it's simple as that. The conditioning is just not quite there yet. And considering that it's almost June, I think that's a little concerning personally.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was a spring training or whatever it may be, but something's not there right now for him, and he's got to.
Whatever it is, he is far from 100%. So
yeah,
he's
got to fix it soon.
He's got to fix it because I mean we're approaching June and he's still not quite there yet, which is concerning. Because he's supposed to be our number 3 guy, who's supposed to be number 3 or number 4. If you want to have Sevy number 3, be the great number 4 pitcher that we have, the gem that we have. And has he turned in an awful season? I'm not going to say he's turned in an awful season, but lately it has just not been working out for him, and I don't know what's going on. It's concerning.
And the numbers are bad, and it's not
good. I mean, the numbers, they're not good. I mean, like, he's had a couple good starts, but he's lately especially been rough. I mean, he was cruising through today's game and then just fell apart in the 7th. Dude. He was cruising. Looked like he was finally going to turn in a really good outing. And then he fell apart in that 7th inning and it never recovered.
Like, I'm so mad. Like, dude, because like you just like reminded me that this would have been his second, like just.
This would have been like his second pretty solid start in a row. And then, he turned a really solid outing into just a subpar outing. Brutal, like on dude. Paper, when you look at the final score and you realize what happened after that, you realize like, okay, yeah, he turned in a pretty bad start, but it's like, on paper, it's like, it's just subpar. 4 runs, 6 innings, usually that's not like great, but usually you can win games off of that, so like that's not like exactly something you can definitely lose off of. You know what I mean? Yeah. He got you 6 innings. That's good that he was able to get a 6. I wish he could have, still maintained some control and velocity entering that 7th inning if he was going to stay out there. But I mean, yeah, it's concerning. I hope he can figure it out. His next start, I don't know when he makes his next start. I don't know if it'll be against the Padres or against I think we play Seattle after that.
Yeah, it'll be whichever Seattle, one.
Probably, yeah.
At Seattle,
whenever he makes his next start, hopefully he just tightens it up, fix some things, tweak some things, and up that conditioning. I definitely think it's a conditioning issue. I really do. He's getting fatigued 75 pitches in, and and I'm not saying 75 pitches isn't a high amount. Yeah, it's a decently high amount, but usually a big league pitcher can handle a little more than that, when you would think, right? And
yeah,
especially since, and I know Nestor last season, he pitched, the most innings he's ever pitched. I get that. I get that he's, still getting himself accustomed to it. But I mean, he's had a full year in the rotation now. So you would think he would up his conditioning to be able to last longer in games, right? You would think. So I do think it's something worth noting. I really do.
Yeah, it's been bad so far, and it sucks, but we're gonna have to. It's something we're gonna have to put a pin on, just because we're gonna have to wait till his next start. That's the only way to really look at this. But yeah, no, it's been bad for Nestor once he gets through that third time through the order. Tasty Pasty says, my thing is, when we win the game, if we win this game, there's little to any criticism of Boone, but when we lose, it's fire Boone, fire Cashman. Yeah, I think when we get to like every single game, you're either fire Cashman, fire Boone, or like, hey, the Yankees won. I think that's when we get a little crazy. I think there's a difference between like criticism and like, hey, fire the guy. Because like, how do I put this? Because like again, like we are both Knicks fans. We talk about the Knicks. We have seen our fair share of coaches, and our fair share of general managers on that end of the spectrum. When you see, hey, this guy should get fired. And usually it's not at 30 and 21. Usually it's at, hey, we have like 17 wins in an 82 game season. Maybe this guy sucks at his job. So yeah, that's like I feel like we can criticize the guy without jumping to fire him, which is like kind of
We've as Knicks fans, we've dealt with some really bad coaches. Him, David Fisdale.
Yeah, that's the
But,
first guy I thought of.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
literally the first guy I thought of.
Yeah, we've dealt with some really awful coaches. Some fans, this isn't a Knicks podcast, but I'm just referencing it here. Knicks fans still say fire Tom Thibodeau, but I mean, he just turned in a pretty successful season, I would say. And it wasn't a championship season, but it was a successful season. And in this case with Boone, it's been a successful season for the Yankees given the circumstances of this team. Far from healthy, didn't have Judge for 10 games. Rays get off to a historic start, and you're 30 and 21, which is a pretty solid record through 51 games. And do I think Boone is like, an amazing manager? No, I'm honestly pretty hard on Boone. I'm not gonna lie about that. But, not every game is Boone's fault. So, I'm not gonna sit here and clamor for everything is Boone's fault this game because, quite honestly, it is not all Boone's fault. And, Cashman deserves criticism too for the roster construction that Boone is kind of forced to deal with and have to manage with. So it goes both ways. To point fingers at one person is a little much. Yeah, some games you feel like are strictly managerial and you should win. There are some games this season that the Yankees could have won if just better decisions were made instead of better plays. But at the end of the day, Boone is also not out there pitching. Boone is not out there hitting. So, to each their own with that take, but that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, no, end of the day, look, the Yankees are just kind of in a weird spot where it's like, there are certain games where you're just, and there are comments mentioning this, and I think is actually a really good point again. There are just games where you are so injured with the pitching staff that you have to take some pretty ballsy risks, and they worked against Cincinnati. When Albert Abreu came into the game, when Jimmy Cordero came into the game, that worked. It worked. And then he tried again against the Baltimore Orioles, and it doesn't work. That's what happens when you rely on guys who are, very inconsistent. I think Cordero's better than Abreu. I think like Cordero, I would keep. Like Cordero's not like a guy that I'm on like DFA watch for. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's like me being optimistic here. But
Cordero has been solid, and
yeah,
I would agree.
Solid.
He's not like on DFA watch, but I do think the reliance on Cordero is getting a little high, and I do think we need to kind of realize who he actually is, and that he is not like Kenley Jansen or somebody.
I think
this is just Jimmy Cordero. He's a solid relief pitcher that you use in like the 6th inning, but you don't expect him to get you a save in a close game or knock it down in the 8th inning of a 1-run game or something like that. That's not on Cordero. That's obviously not Cordero's fault. That's just the pitcher he is. And I know he's been great. He's been solid overall this season, but I mean, that's the way that's just the way I see it.
Yeah, Cordero. Look, there just aren't like, I don't know, like Cordero's just, I think the reliance on him is just a product of injuries. Like they're just so battered that he's like their 5th best reliever right now. It's it's King, Wandy, Holmes, Marinaccio. I'm gonna go Marinaccio, Holmes. I think, yeah, Marinaccio, Holmes, 3 and 4, and then it's like, yeah, Cordero's like their 5th best reliever. So.
And I like what he's been doing this year. Like I kind of just want to reiterate because I don't want people to think I'm like criticizing Cordero. He's been good, but think of it this way: would you rely on an unproven reliever in a close game in a playoff situation? No. Obviously, this isn't the playoffs, and you have time to figure that stuff out. But he's not a proven pitcher yet, so we can't necessarily say like we have to go to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think like end of the day, the way I view it is like they just don't have that is their 5th best reliever right now. And because that's their 5th best reliever right now, that's the guy they have to turn to in spots like that, which it sucks to have to say that. But like Aaron Boone can't like magically unpull Ian Hamilton's groin. That sounded really weird. That sounded so weird. We're just going to move on. That was horrible. I don't know why I didn't just think that one before I said it. Just gonna move on.
My god, dude.
That's not great. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna move on. The Yankee Clipper says, in all honesty, though, Ryan, the bullpen budget management is stupid, but the middle of the order bats keep striking out the ninth, just secondary postseason. I don't think the issue was
Oh
like
my God.
Glaber, Judge, Rizzo, and I mean LeMahieu's wasn't good today. And LeMahieu's someone we got to talk about, I think. But
I'm
I don't
so
think it's like
sorry. I can't stop thinking about your
I
Hamilton
I
comment.
really don't want to think about it. That was bad. That was just not good. That was all types of bad. That was terrible.
Oh, let me
That was
compose myself
terrible.
and get to this comment.
Yeah. I don't know about like the Yankees don't have a lot of budget, man. Are you talking about like money or like usage? Because I think the no 3 days in a row rule is good just because you want to keep your guys healthy. I think the issue is just that again, your back end of the bullpen is Nick Ramirez, Ryan Weber, and Albert Abreu. None of those guys inspire much confidence in me in a close game. Like if Ryan Weber has to shut out like a 3-run lead with 1 inning against like the Reds, like yeah, I'll feel pretty good about that. But like against the Orioles, that's like you're managing with 5 relievers. Then you have to take out King and Marinaccio 2 innings. You really only have 3 relievers. One of them, Cordero, blew it. And then you have Wandy and Holmes. That's so really you're like Aaron Boone was managing with a 3-man bullpen. Really, it felt like because sorry, Abreu's not the guy you go to.
How he used yesterday's pen, yeah.
Yeah, like that's what it feels like sometimes, and that's a matter of Canley's hurt, Hamilton's hurt, Loiza's hurt, Trevino's hurt, and I think
Frost is hurt.
Oh my god, I forgot. Yeah, Frost is hurt. Yeah, dude, this is just like that's
Herman
is suspended, so you can't even get good outings. You can't go deep.
Loiza's hurt. Luis Heel is hurt. I mean,
Rodon is hurt.
Rodon is hurt.
You did most of
Montas is hurt. I mean, half of the pitching staff is on the shelf.
That's what's gonna happen. That's exactly what's gonna happen when you like games like this, shit like this. You're like, why does this happen every 2 weeks? Because they're hurt. It was like with the lineup. Like, why can't the Yankees hit? Gee, I wonder why Willie Calhoun, Franchi Cordero, and Aaron Hicks can't fucking hit. Like, it's because they're playing. It's not because
we had to call up Jake Bauers, and Jake Bauers hasn't had really much, success at the major league level since like 2017.
We are relying like Ben Rortvet is like exciting right now. And that's like Jose Trevino's hurt. I don't know if he can't hit, but holy shit, Jose Trevino's hurt too. You know what I mean? Like Stanton's hurt. When Judge was hurt,
the all-injured team would probably win the division and maybe win 102 games.
Dude, if you just could pull like 3 guys from the injured list, this team would have like 3 more wins. Just 3 and pick any 3. You pick any.
Draw them out of a hat.
Dude, at this point, with the way DJ's been playing, you're kind of like, hey, I guess Josh Donaldson coming back wouldn't be that bad. Like, we're at the point where Josh Donaldson coming back wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
At that point, and I know Donaldson hasn't been producing, but I mean, if we're going to be so depleted, we're going to have no choice but to rely on him.
I've never thought I'd ever utter that phrase. But here we are. Like, when you're just this hurt.
At that point.
When you're this hurt. Okay, I think we got the follow-up to what he was trying to say. Boone strict adherence to that process at all costs. Well, you've got to keep guys healthy. I'm sorry. Guys have to be kept healthy. That's number one. Your bullpen health is more important. I know it's going to sound terrible to say. If the Yankees lost Michael King, not Michael King, let's say Wandy Peralta. If Wandy Peralta got hurt this night, that would be worse for them than losing this game. And that's really
especially if it was a long-term injury. I mean,
even
look what happened with
Ian
Hamilton.
Injury.
Ian Hamilton had to come into the game for the second day in a row after Domingo Germán got tossed,
and that's when he got hurt.
His suspension, right? And he got hurt. He had to rush into the game because he didn't really get a warm-up chance. He had to just come in and warm up through that way, and then was expected to not only pitch that inning, but when he came into the game, they were probably expecting him to get you 2 or 3 to get you to the 6th inning. It was still early in that game. And he didn't even get you through 1 because he got hurt, and now we don't have him for about a month, which stinks because he was like our best reliever,
Yeah. No, it sucks, dude. It's terrible, dude. Some of these injuries have just been brutal. And it's like Ian Hamilton came out of freaking nowhere too. So it's like, okay, Ian Hamilton.
He had a great comeback story. He got drilled in the face a couple years ago and had to get a bunch of surgery, a bunch of repairs on his face and stuff. He came back and he finally seemed to have found it and really become like a reliable reliever, a guy you want to go to in a high leverage situation. That Slambio pitch, whatever they call it. I don't even know how he throws that pitch, but it was nasty, and he's getting a bunch of guys out, and then bam, groin injury on the shelf for 4 weeks. And it's just like, welp, now we're down a huge option that we just found. Now we lost that, which really
Honestly,
stinks.
I have like an interesting theory that I'm gonna talk about later, but like I think the Yankees could like again, I'm an opener guy, so I'm gonna need more openers, but I want to talk about that a little bit later. But I want to make sure I'm like not taking up too much of your talking time and too much of the audience here. I watched the game yesterday. You did not watch the game yesterday, pal. Let's see. What else we got here? The crazy thing is Jimmy has been like Cordero has been lights out, had a rough outing tonight. Yeah, like Cordero had been like surprisingly good, and it just didn't work. Like tonight was just bad. Like this was his worst outing of the year by far. Like he had been fine, and then it just all like it was. I really it sucks for him too.
Cordero
Because, like,
wasn't good, but
it was
neither
just
was
so bad.
Abreu. So, I
Yeah.
mean, what do we do at this point? You don't just say, "Oh, you can never go to Cordero again." No, you just hope next time you throw him out there, he throws better than what he did tonight.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I don't think Boone made a mistake believing in Cortez. He's a starting pitcher. He's pitching well. The bullpen imploded today. Yeah, it's the bullpen. The bullpen, you kind of look at the bullpen,
Yeah,
like, God
like
damn, bullpen.
like I reiterate, like I said before, and I'll reiterate it here. I didn't hate bringing in Cortez in the 7th. I didn't hate that at all. I actually liked it. His pitch count wasn't too high relative to most pitchers, so you would think, okay, he's fine to come in for the 7th. If he starts to get hit up a little bit, then you take him out. I thought though after the leadoff single that it was time to maybe get him out of there. I thought it was time, and if not that leadoff single, definitely after the next one. You definitely couldn't have pushed it past that. And I understand they wanted him to get the lefty with Frazier. I understand the lefty-lefty matchup, cool. But Frazier's not a home run guy. I don't think you're really worrying about a home run in that situation. The fact that he did give up one, it's a rare commodity, but it happened. And the fact that you couldn't rely on Cordero maybe to come in that situation, get a ground ball, a guy with a good sinker, I think that's over reliance on Cortez. I really do. That's why I didn't like it. Me
Cortez or
personally.
Cordero?
Cortez in that situation. I
Okay.
think you're
Yeah.
relying on Cortez too much. Like if I said Cordero, that's my fault.
No, you said
They
Cortez.
have
I just wanted to make sure I heard it
they
right.
have very similar sounding
Yeah,
names.
the
So I
cores
just want
like that.
to
Just like my
make
brain's
sure
a
I
little
was
messed
clear
up.
on it. But like if you're over relying on Cortez in that situation, I think you left him in a little longer than he honestly should have, and giving up the home run was kind of inevitable. And if not a home run, at least a hit that would have driven in a run and put the tying run to the plate. You know, it felt inevitable to me. So that's at least what I think. But if you guys think leaving in Nestor was the smarter idea, oh, that's fine. It wasn't. I've seen worse decisions from Boone. I've seen worse. I don't think this was like the worst thing he's ever done. I have seen worse, but I do think that was a mismanaged decision. I
I
do think
think
that.
the way I look at it is if I can understand the move, I don't hate it that much. If I can't understand the move, then I hate it. You know what I mean? Like that's like if he can explain, I don't have to agree with him, but if it can be explained in a way that I'm like, I can see how you got to that thought process, I'll
like
live with
like
it.
like a good
That's kind of
example,
how I feel.
the DJ bunt last night.
Yeah, like
I
that was
know
just stupid.
The DJ bunt was so egregious that I immediately pointed the finger at Boone because in my head, I'm thinking there is no way DJ LeMahieu thought that was a good idea. Then it came out in the post game that it was DJ LeMahieu's idea. So then I of course take back anything I could have said about Boone, but that's how bad it was, if that makes sense. Like things like that. I don't know if that was a great analogy, but like something like that. You know, like.
No, I get what you're saying for sure. And that was just, man, like I'm still upset about this game. I'm gonna be upset about this game for the next 24 hours. Nestor doesn't give up that home run as that 77 pitch in the stadium. Boos go wild. I do kind of understand. Like, it's just that like it just hurts because if Cortez just gets Frazier out, he doesn't give up the home run. He probably just gets pulled, and we're probably sitting here and saying Cortez pitched really well. He just had that ball wasn't even crushed either.
It takes one bad mistake pitch
Wasn't even
to fold the
crushed.
game, and
That's what
and
pisses me
what that
off.
pitch was to Adam Frazier was a mistake pitch.
Right.
Fastball down the middle, chest high. And you're at Yankee Stadium, and Frazier was able to porch job it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, off the foul pole. So I mean, like it was a mistake pitch. That was a really bad pitch. Even the home run Nestor gave up to Mountcastle, that was a bad pitch. A cutter, high, middle, chest high. Those aren't going to cut it. I don't know if it's like his stuff is being figured out by these hitters now and that they're kind of figuring him out, or if it's just like he's not being deceptive enough on the mound or something like that. I don't know what it is, but like we've been saying, something's off. Something is off because he was getting away with that a lot last year and he was getting hitters out with those type of pitches and now he's not. So something's not right. Something's not right, and I think it requires a tweak. I think it does.
No, I don't disagree, man. It's one of those. It's just I'm still upset about. It sucks.
It's one of those losses that are very, very tough to swallow
Yeah.
because you know, you felt like you should have had this one. You're up 5-1 in the seventh inning, you're cruising. IKF was having a great game. IKF was on cycle watch. I mean, we had a game like that, and Glaber had 2 home runs. The vibes were feeling great, and then it just immediately, bam, done for. Like a
Yeah, and it
light
was all on a
switch.
dime. It was very
Literally
fast. That
one
game just
inning.
happened.
One inning. That's all
One
it took.
hitter.
One hitter, one inning, whatever it was very fast and it just gone. All the energy dissipated.
Stunk with
Exactly.
a capital S. Plus Boone taking out a starting pitcher has backfired repeatedly. Yeah, that is also fair. Like there are moments when you're like could you imagine the optics of like Cordero coming in just getting the shit beaten out of him after Cortez had like 6 innings and 1 run ball? I feel like the way I would I can like galaxy brain understanding this is like, would you rather lose a baseball game because of Nestor Cortez or Jimmy Cordero? And I think my answer to that would be Nestor Cortez by a substantial margin. Like with how bad Cortez has been this year and how good Cordero was coming into the game, like it's just hard to it was just one of those moves that just didn't work. And I think that's kind of how I'm going to look at it.
It just didn't work.
Yeah, Marcus Valdez says Frazier's more home runs than I thought. He's been like killing us like this series. I kind of hate the guy. No, I'm joking. I don't hate the guy, but like he's kind of killing us, man.
I don't know. He suddenly wanted to become an all-star level player again. So I mean, I applaud Adam Frazier. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I guess when players go to the Mariners, things just don't work out. Dude, Jesse Winker didn't work out in the Mariners. Adam Frazier didn't work out in the Mariners. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
His best power season since 2018.
How many home runs did he have?
He had 10 that year, but like his isolated power was 179. He has 6 already this year. He hit 5. He hit 3 the year before and 5 in 2021. He hasn't hit like this is. I'm not saying it's like a fake season. I'm just saying.
I wonder if the juice balls have made a return. First, Yandy Diaz became a power hitter. Now, Adam Frazier.
I think the Orioles are just good at this. Like they're just smart.
Whatever.
Just smart.
Maybe the AL East is just good at this.
This was one of those like do you remember like the offseasons? Like wow, they only brought in Adam Frazier. Like, are we serious? And
Adam Frazier and Kyle Gibson were
Kyle Gibson sucks, but we're seeing him tomorrow. So. Tomorrow,
just because you said that, Kyle Gibson's going to shove against us now.
Kyle Gibson, I think, kind of owns us. I feel like he owns us.
He's going to shove against us. Now that you said that, he's going to
shove. It's either him or Jordan Lyles.
He's going to throw 6 innings of like 1 run ball, and we're going to get like 3 hits off of him. So
okay, sucks is a stretch. He's been league average this year, which is not terrible, all things considered. You sign a guy to be league average. I'm only saying this now because you pointed it out. Yeah, because I said he sucks, he's gonna pitch really well. So
he's gonna end up shoving, dude.
Yeah, he's actually been league average, guys. He's not terrible.
You know what? Let's walk back on it further. He's been really good this year. No, I'm joking.
Hold on. Let's see. Let's narrative ball a little bit here. He has a 3.5 ERA in his last 3 starts. He's pitched against the Tampa Bay Rays, Pittsburgh Pirates, Toronto Blue Jays, all above 500. He's pitching well in those starts. He's just good, guys. He only pitched poorly against Kansas City. That's an outlier start. Just got BABIP to death.
You can just cross your fingers for the stinker tomorrow against us.
If Kyle Gibson strikes out more than 6 Yankees tomorrow, I swear to God, I'm gonna sit on this live stream and I'm just gonna stare at the camera. That's gonna be my contribution. I'm just gonna sit here.
Just hold a picture of Kyle Gibson's headshot and just stare at the camera.
I'm just gonna sit. No joke. I'm just gonna sit like this. Not say a word. My mic will stay off. You can do all the talking. I'll just sit there staring. Like, if Kyle Gibson strikes out 6 or more Yankees, I'm not talking tomorrow. Boone should have gone on the phone and talked to.
Why are we still talking about Michael King, man?
We're moving on.
Why are we still?
I blame Boone for everything, every game. I don't think this one's on him though. Honestly, yeah. Again, he followed this up with team failure. I think it's a team failure.
That's a fair assessment. Team failure.
Yankees should not have won yesterday's, and they should have won today's game. What's going on here? Yeah, Aiden, that's kind of like another funny way to put this. The Yankees won a game that they probably shouldn't have won, and then they lost a game that they probably shouldn't have lost. So
Happens part of
Yeah.
the season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. That's the best way to put it.
Marcus Valdez says, "What's up with DJ's double his career carry?" Like he's been weird this year. He's like his WRC plus is league average. He's striking out a ton. It's not good. Things are bad for him right now.
It
This is
was
not
concerning
good.
off rip too, because if people remember, he struck out like 3 or 4 times on opening day.
Yeah, dude,
So
it's
I mean,
been
it's
like the
been that way
strikeouts are
off
just
rip.
weird.
It's
No,
not
I
like it was
was
a progressive. It's not like it's a progressive thing. It was like that off rip. So
yeah, it's crazy. Like I don't what he's got to figure it out, man. This is not good. And
he's
I
supposed to be someone that's like a key offensive piece too, and we've seen him when he's healthy.
yeah.
He's one of the best hitters really in baseball, and he hasn't been right for a while now. So I don't know what's going on. It's gotten to a point where we're speculating if he's hurt. I think that's a concern. If you're speculating somebody's hurt, then that clearly shows that either A, they're struggling that bad, or B, something truly is wrong and then that they're not saying anything, or that they're kind of just rolling him out there hoping that he could play through it. But if it's damaging the team, something's got to happen about it. Something.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Can't expect to throw the same thing out there and then expect a different result.
Yeah, no,
Can't.
Josh Donaldson's actually now like a guy that you're like, hey, maybe when he comes back. I can't believe I have to say that.
Can't
Dude.
believe we're kind of sitting here subtly crying for Josh Donaldson to return. Like
I'm not
it's
even
not,
like it's not even
like
like
we're not
defeatism with the season. It's just like, dude, but like
at least
it-
at least
it's
at least
unbelievable.
at least it'll be a healthy player.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, like how the
Not
hell
not
do I
trying to
have to
speculate
walk
that
back?
DJ's hurt without actually knowing, but I mean, I think it's fair to say something's obviously up with him. So
Do
if DJ's
we
hurt, then
do we feel like Peraza should be the
that's an
guy?
interesting one. It's an
Peraza's
interesting one
hit another
because I
home
mean,
run today.
he's been doing good in AAA, but I mean, when the time he was up here, the production wasn't really there. And I know he didn't play a whole lot. I know, but in the games he did, there wasn't much production. So, I mean, I don't know, and I don't know if if the lack of third base experience will play a role. You know, I mean, like, because this isn't like April anymore. I mean, you're starting to get into the part of the season where you want to get on a roll. You know what I mean? So I don't know how they'll approach it. I don't know. That's definitely something to look out for, though. I wonder. I
Not
wonder if
only
they're
did
gonna
I
do
just,
anything about that.
not only are we sitting here having to talk about whether Josh Johnson's going to help this team or not, and the Yankees just blew a 5-1 lead, and I have to read comments about Michael King having to pitch back-to-back days of throwing 2 innings, but my Twitter feed for some reason is full of posts about I'm a Taurus, this person's a Taurus, like the zodiac signs. I just want to look up some stats. I'm not even a Taurus. I'm a Libra. I don't care about these things, though. Like, dude, I'm scrolling through my freaking Twitter feed. I'm having a bad night, all right? This is a bad night right now, okay? It was cold. I was wearing shorts. I went to work in shorts when it was 70 degrees, but it's freaking Binghamton, so it dropped to 40-something degrees. It was a little bit rainy. Just not a good night. And I had to listen to the Yankees lose on that walk home. It was not a good night, okay? And now I gotta fucking see this shit. Oh, what a Taurus. He's wearing this. I don't care. Okay, I'm trying to get to my freaking Yankee stats. Anyways, this is just not my night right now. All the negative regression is hitting. Anyways, so let's talk about Oswaldo because I'm really nervous. I love the guy, but he's swinging out of his shoes. Yeah.
This is definitely a good one to talk about.
The Yankees have to make a move when Josh Donaldson and Giancarlo Stanton come back. Willie Calhoun's gonna be one of them, or Jake Bauer's gonna be one of them. Maybe those are both of them. But
could something happen with Oswaldo? I definitely would look out for that.
If you're Oswald Peraza, like he's hitting better.
And something I wanted to point out too, I love the versatility Cabrera brings. I love it. I love that he's capable of pretty much playing anywhere. But at some point you got to address the offense, and he has not been hitting well whatsoever this season. And he's still young, and maybe, just maybe, it may be time to send him down and kind of develop his swing a little bit more. I mean, the Cardinals did it with Jordan Walker, and it's not like Jordan Walker was having a bad start to the season, but they felt like something was off, so they sent him down, and maybe that's something they need to do with Oswaldo, and as with Oswaldo too, there's clearly something wrong with his hitting, so maybe they need to do something about that. I mean, I would look out for it. I mean, hitting barely above 200 and only hitting 3 home runs at this part of the season while being an everyday player it's concerning. It's gotten to a point where he's slowly phased out of becoming an everyday player, and he's becoming more of a utility guy who only plays here and there or comes in like halfway through the game in a pitch hitting spot. If you can't rely on him to play a lot, maybe they should send him down and get him developed. better with the better swing. He's still young, so you could do that. Maybe they should do that.
Yeah, no, it's been just. I think something's. I don't know. I don't like that. After we're having this. I don't like to have this
And
conversation.
like he's had his
Gotta have
good
them.
moments this season. It's not like it's been 100% bad, but it's been
It's
about
bad enough.
95% bad. It's been about 95% bad. It has not been very good. There's been very little good thrown in there in Cabrera's season so far, and that like 5% good has been just the 3 home runs. And I think he had like a 3-hit game or something earlier this season and a clutch hit against Cleveland, but that was about it. That's been about
Yeah,
it. Otherwise, he's kind of been a non-factor. So maybe it's time to send him down. Maybe
maybe.
it may be time for that.
I'm gonna fire through these questions. So because we're way backed up here.
Let's do it.
But Herman, but Boone has to make up for Herman's absence of upcoming game. Yeah, Herman again getting suspended. It sucks. It for him, for us. But like that's also just like it's so stupid that he decided to go out there against the same crew that warned him the first time and go out there with whatever the hell he had on his hands. Just so stupid. Like he's just such an idiot sometimes, dude. It's not even sometimes. There's multiple incidents of him being an idiot, but
Well, we all know one. We all know one
he's just so
specifically.
stupid. Some dude, like
We all know one specifically.
I typically stay away from saying this, but like, dude, he's so stupid. But anyways, throw. Okay. Would you rather have Wandy Peralta if he goes today? Is not available in a game in which Clark Schmidt is starting. Clark Schmidt's not getting past.
All right, I want to ask this, to this viewer, okay? Like, how many times, if you were the manager of the Yankees right now, how many times would you pitch a reliever in games in a row? How many consecutive games would you pitch him? I'm genuinely curious.
If the answer is 3, you cannot be the manager.
If the answer is more than 2, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with them also pitching 30 plus pitches 2 days in a row, that is also a problem.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Their health matters more than that. I don't think I would say at least that their health matters more than defeating the Baltimore Orioles in May 24th. I would think. But
yeah.
Who am I? I'm not the manager. Maybe I should be. I don't know.
I would be a horrible manager. I just like you think about it, like I'm the most indecisive person ever. But the Yankee says, please bring up Krook. We agree. Marcus Aldis says, is it bad that I'm excited to see what JD could do? No,
it's not bad. No, at this point, we're at that point where we kind of need to have some optimism for him. We're kind of at this point. It's the point where we're just like, at least it's someone healthy. At least it's someone healthy. It's someone that, and as much as he hasn't been producing, he's gonna play every day. So who knows? Maybe he can find a way to get hot for a little bit.
It's incredible, man.
Maybe.
I can't. Third base has been such a black hole. It's crazy. We want JD All-Pro wrong. Yeah, no. I want to be wrong. Like I want to be like I want
Josh Donaldson to come back and just turn into that MVP Donaldson. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But do I think that'll happen? No, I don't think that'll happen. But if he can just
I'd love to be wrong.
I would love to be wrong, of course. But if he could be, tolerable and serviceable, then great. If he could be better than hitting 133, which is what he was hitting prior to the injury, then you live with it, I guess.
Yeah, it's such
take what you can get, because I mean, how much worse can it get? When Judge went down, that was probably the worst it got, right? Now he's back, so can it get much worse than what it was at that point? And can it get much worse than what we're dealing with at the moment? Probably not. You're only adding in another player. You're not subtracting someone, and when you do subtract someone, it's going to be someone that's a detriment. So one way or another, you're not really losing here.
It's one of those
unfortunate situation that I have to say it that way, but it's true. You're not really losing on that.
Yeah, it's the DJ's been bad lately. That really gives you like Why we have Abreu, Cordero, Ramirez, Weber. These random bubs are both, but why not go with the youth and the minors? Okay, Krook. Who else? Greg Weisser's been terrible. David Garcia's been terrible in AAA. Who else? Like I can't do, dude. Who the fuck else is getting called up, man? Tell me who's getting called up. Is David Garcia solving? David Garcia has like a fucking 25%. David Garcia walks like a fifth of the batters he faces in AAA.
Look, the way I see it, like, man,
I can't.
I understand you want like the younger guys up here. That's fine, but these may be like random people to you, but like also like they're up here because we don't have many options. It's not like they're up here because we want them up here. They're up here because it's all we got. We've been
Yeah.
trying. We've been flip-flopping so many different pitchers out of that bullpen. Every like 3 games, we get a notification from the Yankees social media team that we just sent down another pitcher and recalled this guy. We sent down David Garcia, recalled Greg Weissert or something, something like that. We see that a lot. It's because it's all we got. We're trying what we can. We're trying out what we have, like it's not as simple as just wiping out these guys, sending 4 guys down and sending 4 more back up, because now you're taking a lot of experience off the roster as well. And that matters.
Yeah,
That matters.
I'm gonna
Major League
pull.
MLB pitching is completely different than AAA pitching. It
Yeah,
may
I'm
feel
gonna.
similar, but it's not.
Let me see if I can find this. There we go. I'm gonna tell you the guys that are on the 40-man roster that are in AAA right now. Johnny Brito, no. Randy Vasquez has a 4.85 ERA in AAA with a 4.66 FIP, and he's a starting pitcher. They're not going to just ditch him as a starting pitcher just yet, but no. Matt Krook, we want him called up, so we are pro Matt Krook. Okay, Greg Weissert has been good in AAA, but 3 ERA, 12% walk rate, and then in Major League Baseball, he's been getting shelled, so no. Davey Garcia, 19.4% strikeout percentage. That's well below average. 4.24 ERA, not good. It's 15.7% walk rate. No. No. So that's 1 out of 5 guys that's on the 40-man roster in AAA that is worthy of being called up. And look, the young guys thing works when it's like, okay, Oswald Peraza, maybe he should get called up. Maybe. I promise you that the bullpen options, like Krook is the guy that no debate. But there's no one else. There's literally no one else. So
nope.
We just relax.
There's not many options available. It's as simple as that. It's the unfortunate reality.
Yeah. And rewatch. Yeah, no, he just looks off. DJ looks so bad right now. It sucks. But
and it, you know what, with DJ, it could either just be an ironically badly timed slump, or he could be injured. We don't know.
Or washed.
We won't.
I don't want it to be washed though.
I hope it's not that he's washed. I really hope that, because we have him for quite a while, and I think he's still valuable to the team. I think he still plays good defense and he can hit the ball still, but I really hope he can figure it out soon.
Yeah, same. And let's see. What is Josh Donaldson? He is different. He's just like, you have to see what you have in him, considering what you're getting from third base.
You have to see it too. Not even just that, but he's also making a lot of money, and it's unfortunate that we're stuck with the contract, but the reality is we are stuck with the contract. So you want to see what you could get out of him, because there is honestly very little chance you can get rid of him right now. So if you have him and you're paying him that much money, you might as well see what you can get out of him and see if you can figure him out. It's unfortunate. I know we all don't want to see Josh Donaldson play. We don't. But when he's making that much money, he's going to play no matter what, because the Yankees aren't just going to sit $36 million on the bench, and that would be a waste of that money too. So you got to see what you can get out of him. See if you can get any sort of value. See if you can get any production. See if you can figure it out. You kind of have to. It's such a tough situation with him because of that contract. If he wasn't on that kind of lucrative deal, this would be a different situation. We would be talking about how he would probably get DFA'd very soon. And I know a lot of Yankee fans probably want him to get DFA'd, and that's fine. But unfortunately, I don't know how likely a DFA is just because of those factors. It's a tough situation. It's tough.
Yeah, they're we are in a tough spot.
Like that trade is still haunting,
Oh, at least Ben Rohrbeck exists. Maybe he can be good.
Yeah, well, at least we know he's real. At least we know he's real. But all that stuff going on and stuff, like, you just got to see what you get out of JD. You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been bad right now, so how much worse can it really get?
Yeah, no. I'm guessing this is referring to Abreu. Yeah, he just needs another sunflower seed shower. That'd be kind of nice. If anything, yeah, that could also help with like mitigating fatigue for DJ. Means, we'll see what that means for him. A lot of these are just kind of about the same thing regarding him, but Jack Schmel, who was in the chat yesterday,
that's my boy. I was hanging out with him watching the game, so
yeah,
we watched that. We saw this meltdown together today.
I think he makes an excellent point. This is the type of game that happens when you're hurt like this. When you're hurt like this, you're gonna have to like say, please God, Albert Abreu, get me out of this inning. But you don't want to do. But
and a fun fact for you, Ryan, Jack is very much into analytics, and he wants to actually get into sabermetrics for a job. So I think you two would really get along well. So
Hey,
I
look,
just wanted to point that out.
that's awesome, dude.
Whenever we do a Twitter space, I told him that he should come in and start talking about some of that stuff with you because I know you really like analytics and
Oh,
you
I'd
really
be
are
all
into
in.
that stuff. So I think you two would get along great. Just wanted to put that out there.
Dude, I love me. I love me just, dude. I sometimes just sit down and just look at an Excel sheet and I'll just smile, man.
You'd love him. You'd love
Smile.
yourself some ex Woba.
Give me an Excel sheet and just 1 hour to do nothing, and I'll be a pretty happy guy. The problem with Boone is he has no feel for the game, or no. I mean, he's been in baseball and his family's been in baseball for like how long now? It's if he did have a feel for a game, I think he'd be gone. Don't manage a team like managers. People forget managers get fired pretty frequently. Guys get fired left and right. It's you think Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cash are thinking we're willing to hitch our legacy on this guy. They let go of Joe Torre. They let go of Joe Girardi. Both those guys won World Series titles. I promise you that if they had a problem with Aaron Boone and if Aaron Boone was really as bad as you're making him out to be, he wouldn't be here.
And
He
I
would
just
not
want
be
to
here.
say too, I'm hard on Boone, like I've been saying, and I'm not very high on the guy. I don't think he's an amazing manager. I don't think he's like the perfect guy we've ever had. I do think we've had way better managers, of course, in this franchise, but you know, I'm not going to sit here and act like Boone has been horrendous, awful, just this complete detriment. Should have been dropped a long time ago. Things happen. There are good moments he's had. You know, 2019, the team was as injured as ever, possibly even more injured than we are right now, and he got the team to 103 wins. You know, that's an example of a good managed season and a good thing he's done. You know, obviously he's had his moments this season where mismanaging games, making bad decisions, maybe leaving in the starting pitcher a little too long. I'll tell you this right now, though, all managers do that. All managers do that. So it happens. I mean, obviously I wish Boone was better. I do wish he was better, but I'm not, sometimes we hold these managers to a pretty high standard because we are passionate Yankee fans and we want to see our team be successful and make the World Series again for the first time in 14 years. But, you know, the league is getting tougher these days, and for what it is worth, it's not like Boone has been the worst thing we've ever had. I don't think he's been the best thing we've ever had either, but I don't think he's been the worst because back in the day there were some bad Yankee years, man. Back in the day there were some really bad Yankee seasons, especially in like that 80s time. Really bad Yankee seasons, and nope, you know what I mean? So we've seen dark days. Maybe not exactly me and Ryan specifically, but this franchise has seen that. Maybe some of you guys in the chat and watching this have seen those dark days yourself, but it's been worse for this franchise. I wish things were better, of course, but for what it's worth, we're putting up with it, and we just gotta deal with it right now and see where it goes. Because there's also not that many options that are available to replace Boone. You guys, someone might say, "Oh, this guy's available." Well, how do you know he'll fit with the team? That stuff matters. It matters. You know.
Yeah, no, dude, we've had we've been through worse. I'm not we, but like, I mean, technically, yeah, no,
Well,
2013 was
you and I went through
even
the
2013, 14,
2013 to
16.
16. We went through that.
Yeah,
But Joe
that was an
Girardi was
old ass
still
Yankees
there, and then
team.
he stuck around, and he was still there for 17. So I don't want to, always blame that on that. But you get the point. I
This
think you
is
understand it.
Jojo. I got fired because he was rough on Gary Sanchez is a fucking bust. How about because of the fact that in the playoff game, Gary Sanchez says, "Hey, he didn't get hit. Please challenge us." And Joe Girardi was like, no." And then Lindor hit the fucking grand slam off of Chad Green. That's why he got fired. That's why Joe Girardi got fired. Has there ever been a move in Aaron Boone's career that has been as detrimental as Joe Girardi not challenging that call? That in game 2 of the 2017 ALDS, Lonnie Chisenhall does not get hit by that ball. That is off of the fucking knob of the bat. Gary Sanchez
You
is
bring up a very valid
screaming at
point.
Joe Girardi. He's screaming, challenge it, challenge it, challenge it, challenge it. And this guy goes, nah, I'm good. Grand slam, Yankees go on to lose the game. That's on Joe Girardi. That's why he got fired. He didn't trust his own guys. That's why he got fired. Stop saying because it was rough for Gary Sanchez. Because they didn't fucking like him. The young guys didn't like him that much. He made that decision gets you fired. I don't care.
Did
If you
we
don't
did we
trust
realize
the
too
catcher,
that Gary Sanchez is struggling to stay on a major league roster, it's
Yeah,
not
he's
a
not
Yankees
good.
thing.
I'm not saying
It's
he's not
not a
good.
it's not a
Yeah.
Yankees thing. The Yankees gave him a chance. They gave him more than a chance.
Also, who is Manny Octa? 2, Mark DeRosa. Did you see what he did in the World Baseball Classic?
I was just about to say that.
Daniel Bard is fucking melting down on the mound, and he's like, all right, cool, kid, keep him in.
Mark DeRosa
Melting down.
Mark DeRosa had possibly the greatest roster ever assembled, ever,
And didn't win. And he
didn't
got
win.
his own way. He was not the only reason why, but he didn't do himself any favors. It's not like he did a great job with the World
And
Baseball
yes,
Classic.
it's
What type
also
of
a
games are you
7 games.
watching?
It's also a 7-game sample size of WBC, so you don't want to, look too far into it. But what did Mark DeRosa prove to be a major league manager after that? I don't think he proved he could.
I'm gonna just for a second because I know that this is gonna.
And I also don't know who Manny Acta is, so I'm not gonna.
I don't know
because
who
I
he is
don't
either.
know who he
And
is.
you know, ideally, you hire a guy that your players freaking know because they're gonna be your manager. Like you can't just hire anyone. I don't understand, dude. I don't.
It's like saying let's hire Carlos Mendoza.
But at least Carlos Mendoza's here. At
And
least he's here.
and I just want to say too, I don't think Mark DeRosa is like a bad person. I
No,
think
I
he's
love.
a great
He's
person.
fun. But
He's
he's not a good
great
manager.
person. I think the players would love the guy, but from a baseball standpoint, where are you looking at it with that?
Dude,
That's
he brought it. He brought it like. I don't think people realize, like, do you know how bad it would? Do you know how, like, it's an elimination game? I'm going to double check to see exactly. Yeah, the U.S. Venezuela game where Trey Turner hits that unreal grand slam, like, just an iconic moment, unbelievable, all time great. People forget Daniel Bard, not Daniel Bard. Yes, Daniel Bard walks 2 batters, hits a few batters. I think he's the one who hit Altuve. Gives up. He's getting shelled. He's getting smoked. He has nothing. What does Mark DeRosa do? Keeps him in the game. Keeps him in the game. Keeps him in the game. Do you know how that's do you know that's the equivalent of like Clay Holmes comes in and he's first batter, second batter, third batter, fourth batter, fifth batter, sixth batter, just has nothing, and he keeps him in? I would call for Aaron Boone to be fired mid-inning. I wouldn't want Aaron Boone to leave the stadium with a job. That's a do or die game. Oh, Joe already made one posted mistake. How many does Aaron Boone have? Name the mistake. Name me the game. Show me the game that Aaron Boone. Show me the game that Aaron Boone has that is even remotely close. That's just how bad of a play that was, considering the fact that your catcher, and that shows you just publicly embarrassed your catcher because you're like, I don't trust him.
Not for nothing too, but most of our playoff exits in the Aaron Boone era have been to the team that ended up making the World Series or winning the World Series.
And it's been because of the team. Like, look, we're gonna blame
Aaron. It's been to the better team. Let me think off the top of my head here. All right, 2018, we lost to the Red Sox. They won the World Series.
17 Astros.
No, 17. That was Girardi. So 18, Red Sox won the World Series. 2019, Astros made the World Series. 2020, Rays made the World Series. 2021, Red Sox made the ALCS. 2022, Astros won the World Series.
Every single team and the Red Sox beat the 1 seed Rays, which is pretty impressive. And I'm not sitting here saying like Manny Octa, like if he's listening to this, he's probably not. Like I don't think he's like a stupid guy or anything like that. Like, but like the organization doesn't know him. He probably doesn't know any guys in the clubhouse. Like, imagine just like going like, all right, Manny Octa, you're the manager of the New York Yankees now, which is tough. That's New York media. And you're like, hey, you're the manager of the New York Yankees now. And figure out how to, not be hated here and how to get the respect of these guys. Good luck. That's how you ruin a clubhouse. And then for the DeRosa thing, like the dude has never been a manager before, number one. I know Boone hadn't been either. But in his stint as a manager with the USA, you can say a lot of like,
there's a high rationale for why you shouldn't hire him as a manager.
Dude, Trey Turner was hitting 9th in this game. Trey Turner was hitting 9th in this. Tim Anderson was hitting ahead. Tim Anderson was hitting ahead of Kyle fucking Schwarber. He was hitting ahead of Trey Turner hit 9th in this game, guys. Like, like, come on. Is that what good managing looks like? Like, are we really gonna? Could you imagine if Trey Turner, like the Yankees had Trey Turner, they hit him fucking 9th in the USA Japan game? I knew there was a lineup like just absolutely egregious. Yeah, he had Nolan Arenado, Goldschmidt, fine, but they had been struggling, but whatever. Anderson starting. I don't know if Anderson was even their best second baseman available. You had McNeil there. Just is this the best? Like, is this the best lineup construction in the world? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's just like you have a sample size of him managing, and it's never been impressive enough for me to sit here and be like, "Yep, manager him." You have to understand too. DeRosa's never been a part of the Yankee organization, so
what relation with the players or anyone in the front office does he have?
and it's a mid-season thing. It's mid-season. And look at this. Boone threw away 4 games in the postseason last year, 2 in the LCS, 2 in the ALDS. What were the 2 games? What were the games he threw away? Tell me the games. Game 2, when he brought in Tyone because he didn't have anyone else available. Do people remember how short that bullpen was? Because you had no Marnacchio. You had no Efros.
And if the other mistake, if your one mistake is 2020 when we had Davy Garcia pitch, I mean, we had such a thin rotation then.
The rotation was terrible. That's on Brian Cashman. How much did you say, hey, Brian Cashman,
how much did you want Boone to do with that? And the way I see it too, this is 2020. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about 2020 because it was a short season. I don't even like talking about 2020, but the season did happen, so I have to reference it somewhat. That Tampa Bay Rays team was really good that year, and they made the World Series. That wasn't by accident. We took them to 5, and we lost Game 5 because of a home run in the 8th inning. We were pretty close to knocking them off with a pretty rough roster. People remember that 20. Some people might not have even watched 2020 season at all because it was just 60 games, or people might have just remembered it as a blur. I still watched all the games. I don't remember everything from it, but I remember some parts. That team was bad. That team was 500 at one point late in the season. They finished only like 6 games above 500, barely even made the postseason, and took that 1-seeded Rays team to 5.
Yeah.
I mean, what more did you want him to do? And he took that 2019 team that was injured to every level. Pretty much everyone on the roster had an injured list stint at some point that season. And guys and Aaron Judge missed half that season. Giancarlo Stanton played like 12 games that season.
Yeah, and in the postseason he missed games.
Yeah, and missed games in the playoffs. And they won 103 games and made the ALCS very easily, and were one good inning and one more good game away from going to the World Series.
Yeah.
If if Altuve doesn't hit that home run, they might have forced a Game 7. It could have won Game 7.
And I don't know if and Morning Brew Sports, who actually we had on Fireside Knicks. So shout out you guys.
Shout out Morning Brew.
Hope you guys are doing have a great time.
People. Make sure you guys follow those guys. They're great people.
Absolutely. Again, the point he brings up about Octa, he's not in the organization. So, it's kind of weird. I did like Tony Pena actually was like, my dad was like he wanted Tony Pena to be the manager of the Yankees, like so badly. Like to the point where I only knew Tony Pena because my dad I knew him as just the guy that my dad wanted to be on the New York Yankees as the manager. But that would have been fine. I know he managed the Dominican WBC team, I think it's 17 and 13. I was way too young to be like a bullpen evaluator, but I thought he did a decent job. But that would have been a nice addition. But even then, so much about what makes a good manager is how much the clubhouse likes you, and how much the clubhouse seems to love Boone. And I think that matters. That's gonna matter. That's gonna matter, guys.
You and I mentioned this in our Fireside Knicks episode today, actually, when we talked about Tom Thibodeau. Players' relationship with your coaches or your managers matters a lot. If your players don't like the manager or they don't like the head coach of a basketball team or something like that, the team ain't going to perform well. They're not. If they get along, well, the team can perform better. Yeah, the team won't perform perfect. I'm not going to say they're definitely going to perform perfect, but the performance will be better. If the relationship is there and the manager gets these players, they understand these players, they want to get the best out of them, they're going to play better. That's how it is,
Yeah, end of the day, just the manager spot is just not something that I think people can continue to The manager spot is just not going to change, and for right now, and there's a reason for it. You can't.
I always make jokes that I could be a manager, but in reality, I can't be the manager. Yeah. I don't know these guys, and I don't have any sort of relation with the organization other than the fact that I just am a fan of the team. I have Mariano Rivera sitting right here behind me, and I have some Yankee stuff, in my background, but that's about it.
Yeah, look, I personally can't I can't decide what I want to eat for dinner. I don't think I can decide who's coming into a baseball game. But give me Mariano Rivera, man. I'll win you some ball games. I won't win you.
He's right there.
Socially awkward, which is not great. like I have the social skills of like a pet rock. If anyone has ever meets me at Yankee Stadium, like you're gonna understand very quickly what I'm saying with this. I'm very much just like someone once described meeting me as like I introduce myself the same way as I do in videos, which I don't think is a great thing to have as like a reputation, but they say I do.
Walk up to people and say, "How's it going? How's it going, guys? How
No,
you
like
doing?"
they were like because I remember exactly how it happened because like I don't know, like brains like programmed to do. I was like, hi. I was like this, like, hi, I'm Ryan. Like it's like fuck.
Just, that NPC that you're like
Yeah.
the NPC walking in.
Evident by the groin comment from earlier, I don't really think before I speak, which is why I typically don't speak.
Yeah, I don't know why you made that grunt comment, man.
You get the point. I think we got. I think
we get the point, but
sense.
we get the point. But man, that sounded bad.
I should have just used like Loizaga. I should have said like it's not like he can fix Loizaga because that would have sounded normal. That would have like been fine. Like now
that's up there with when Cameron Maybin said that he's the famous quote. I'm not even gonna say it. Dude, you know the famous quote.
Yeah. Oh my God.
With Ryan Rucco. If anybody remembers that they remember that. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get clipped on it for saying that.
This is actually I didn't know this, that he was supposed to sign with the Yankees in 2009 and they just like dipped. Hey, I would not like it would be like, okay, I'm not saying being petty is a good thing, but as someone who's petty outside of, in my personal life, a little petty sometimes. I would if Aaron Boone, not Aaron Boone, if Brian Cashman legitimately was like got reached out by like the roast to be the manager, he's like, well, yeah, actually, we're not going to sign you because of what you did in 2009. That'd be pretty funny. I would want that to be the truth. Do you remember that like quote that like apparently Jeter was like, who would you rather have at shortstop instead of me? And then Cashman like actually started listing off people he'd rather.
I actually hadn't heard about that.
Dude,
but that sounds like something he would do.
I gotta find this. Hold on.
That sounds like something he would do,
Brian,
because I mean I've heard the whole stuff about how Jeter almost walked away and how the Jeter and Cashman talks were intense in a sense, but so, I haven't heard specifics, so this is intriguing for me.
Let me see if I can find this. Yeah.
Because I'm definitely interested in this.
Let me see if I can find.
If he, okay, I swear, if he named Brendan Ryan or something.
No.
I'm gonna run through a wall.
Apparently, so this is like a pretty. This is like not like a recent thing. It was like a while ago, obviously. So apparently, Cashman even admitted this, that when they sat down, Cashman admitted, this is so funny. Cashman apparently was like, so Jeter was like, who would you rather have playing shortstop this year than me? And then Cashman goes, do you really want me to answer that? And then he said, Troy Tulowitzki.
And you know what? He was a Yankee, and maybe for like what, 5 games?
Brian Cashman isn't wrong for that. At the time, Tulowitzki was clearly the better player.
Oh yeah, of course.
100%. But it's funny that he said it, and then he still re-signed with the Yankees. That's hilarious.
Re-signed with the Yankees, and then you know what? Cashman got his wish, but for like 5 games.
Cashman being like this, I can imagine Cashman being like this smug asshole, and like he's like, yeah, I'd rather have this guy than you, man. And the player's like, just give me the goddamn pen. Like, just give me the contract, man. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, I'd love to like just know he's petty. That'd be so funny. But yeah, at the time in 2010, I would have much rather had Tulo, and I'm kind of
I'm pretty sure everyone could. I'm pretty sure everyone will agree with that.
But that's so
was
funny.
That good, but it's just funny he told it to his face.
Cashman's such a hilarious person. There's like the picture of him like scaling a fucking wall. Do you see that video?
Yeah,
that's stupid. Yeah. Oh my God, man.
Or the whole Josh Donaldson thing. Oh, Gio Urshela was great, but he's no Josh Donaldson,
dude.
Yeah, you're right. He's better.
Brian Cashman's hilarious. Brian Cashman's hilarious. Like, dude, Brian Cashman's I don't care what you think. He's unironically a hilarious guy. Like I'd want to sit down and just talk to Brian Cashman one day. Not like about baseball. I just want to
you know what? Brian Cashman, if you're watching this, get on Fireside Yankees.
Please, I don't even want to ask you baseball questions, but I just want to hear you, dude. I just want to talk to you. He just seems like such a fucking
that video would break the freaking internet.
I just want to ask him, like, when you scaled the side of a building, like,
and then just after that, just drop in. So you told Jeter that you'd rather Tulowitzki over him, huh?
Yeah. So like, what was that? You gotta have balls to say that, man. Because imagine if you wouldn't have re-signed Jeter. Holy shit!
Oh man,
dude, the judge conversations. Like, I imagine Cashman was like, dude, I'm not giving you this money. And he's like, you're giving me this money. Like, fuck no, I'm not. You can talk to Hal. I'm not doing it, man. And he then re-signed Judge. There's like, just good Lord. Like he he's just like he comes off as a smug asshole. It's hilarious. I feel like that's just I don't know. Like
The
it's
Brian
just
Cashman experience.
dude. He like leaked the offer and like it pissed Judge off, and then Judge re-signed with the Yankees. Like there's so many stories of like Cashman pissed this guy off, and then what happened? And then he re-signed with the Yankees. Like it's so funny, dude. He's like what are you gonna do without me? Like it's so funny. But will Ben get played time or just sit on the bench? The Roy Dog is gonna just be a second. Like he has to be a backup catcher because of the fact that like the pitching staff doesn't have comfort with they don't have comfort with Rortvet. Like they just Cole's never pitched,
and that's not Rortvet's fault. It's just he's not played.
It's just like pitchers are kind of particular. Like I used to pitch and I'm a psychopath. Like look at the way I've turned out. It is what it is. Dude, if I had my shoes not tied the right way, I would feel it. Like pitchers are weird. They're weird people. All pitchers are a little bit crazy. You can't be a really good pitcher unless you're at least a little bit psycho. That's my theory. There's not a name like the most normal elite starting pitcher you know.
I don't even know. I can't even think.
I'm gonna like go to like AL Cy Young, like MLB Cy Young, and we're gonna like I'm gonna keep
like maybe Justin Verlander. I don't know.
He has a picture of him and Kate Upton like butt naked staring at a mirror.
Then never mind. I take that.
He's just not a normal guy. I don't mean that in a bad way. Sandy Alcantara Sandy Alcantara is apparently like super cocky, which I love. But like Shane Bieber, he seems like a pretty normal guy.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
yeah,
not that.
Trevor
weird,
Bauer's certainly not a normal guy. Trevor Bauer's definitely not. Jacob deGrom seems pretty kind of like normal. Corey Kluber's like too quiet to be normal. He is like a robot. He's not human. So no,
I haven't. Now that I think about it, I don't remember the last time I heard Corey Kluber speak. So,
dude, do you remember the picture of him after his no hitter? Where he's just like,
yeah, he's just standing there, straight faced, like, bro, you just threw a no hitter. You're not happy or anything.
How did you feel about the no hitter?
I thought it was good. I felt good today.
Like I'm like kind of like smirking
it's like DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu don't get like very expressive.
Yeah, Kluber is just like a psychopath. He has to be. Like he is. Like I'm sorry. Like I mean that in the most
Garrett Cole
These guys are all psychopaths.
Garrett Cole is just awkward.
Yeah.
Anytime they interview,
sounds like Kermit.
Anytime they interview Garrett Cole, he's stuttering like 5 times.
Nestor's definitely not normal. Severino loves getting crazy on the mound. Montas seems like a pretty normal dude, but we've also barely known him. Herman is just
I know a very normal guy. I'm looking at the chat on my phone, so I'm stealing this from comments, but Zach Greinke, pretty normal guy.
Normal dude. Just like nothing, has never done anything remotely abnormal ever.
Totally normal guy.
Just never anything abnormal. He's finally listing off the mistakes. Frankie Montas in the ALCS Game 2. Hey, Nimrod, he pitched in Game 1. Hey, Yankee King, pitched in Game 1, you fucking idiot. I'm sorry, that was really mean. Clark Schmidt in Game 3 of the ALDS. He didn't even throw a bad pitch like that. Did you see the slider that he threw? Like I have that pitch burned into my fucking head because that was one of the worst days of my life. Dude, this is like I have like a really bad track record with the Yankees and getting walked off. I found I got cheated on that day. It was crazy. Like terrible day. Horrible day. Jameson Talon Game 2 of the ALDS. Tyone in Game 2 of the ALDS was not a bad decision. Herman didn't pitch in Game 3 of the ALDS. What did Herman pitch? Hold on.
Did Herman pitch at all?
I don't think he pitched in the fucking postseason. If I find out that Mingo Herman didn't pitch in Game 3, LA Yankee King. He did pitch. Dude, I don't even remember him pitching. How is it a bad thing? He didn't give up a fucking run.
I don't remember him pitching.
Bad. Do you know what Miguel Castro did in that inning? Do you want to know what Miguel Castro did in his inning pitch? Where he was a bad person to bring it into Game 3? 1 inning pitch, 2 strikeouts, 3 batters faced. Perfect inning.
And
how is that a mistake?
Maybe they were losing, and that's why he said that.
He said Castro and Herman, but you see, he said that ended our season. How did Miguel Castro and Domingo Herman end our freaking season, dude?
What ended the season was the offense.
They were dog shit.
Even Aaron Judge slumped in the postseason. The best hitter was IKF.
Harrison Bader.
Okay, Bader.
But IKF, yeah, he was good that series.
My bad. Harrison Bader. But
Matt
then IKF
couldn't make contact with anything. John Carl Stanton stunk. Glaber
best
stunk.
Hitter was Harrison Bader. I forgot about Bader for a moment, so it's 1 a.m, so I just forgot about that for a second. Bader obviously was the best hitter, but then there was IKF.
And Rizzo
didn't even play every day.
That's all I remember.
Rizzo didn't even do a whole lot, though.
Dude,
Stanton might have hit a couple home runs, but that was in the ALDS. So,
dude,
it's Cleveland. The
Matt
fact that
Krook, I don't
Cleveland
think
took us
made
to 5
contact
is
with
a
the ball.
concern.
Did Matt
Nope.
Krook make contact with the ball in that series? I don't think he did.
Nope.
Maybe he fouled a couple pitches off, but I don't think he put a ball in play.
He struck out every at bat. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not once, but
Josh
struck out every at bat.
Josh, did you remember the Justin Verlander at bats?
Oh. You know what's even funnier about all that? The offense was so bad, yet we got rid of Joey Gallo at the deadline. So it could have even been worse if he was still around.
I don't even I just remembered the Josh Donaldson at bats. They were so bad, dude. That offense. I'm gonna pull my face off if I keep thinking about it.
I guess if you're a pitcher, just the solution to get Donaldson out in the postseason, just throw strikes right down the middle.
He swung at a curveball the way that I would swing at a curveball. I'm just gonna move on. Cash said of Boone decisions. I'm gonna go Frank Fleming. I'm chewing my fucking thumb right now. I'm gonna go full Frank Fleming thinking about this shit. Cash on Boone's decisions.
Adam Frazier got you mad today.
I keep seeing the fucking tourist tweets on my timeline.
Adam Frazier got you mad today.
One more zodiac sign tweet on my timeline. Elon Musk. Look at me. If I see one more zodiac sign tweet on my timeline, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm not a Taurus. I'm not even I don't care. Please stop doing this. I just want to look at other shit. Anyways, yeah, no, I remember this comment where if he doesn't follow the analytics, it's he's gonna have to explain his decision, which makes sense. Kind of do his own thing and then kind of explain it to the front office if they're what the fuck are you doing? Manny Octa has this thing called manager's experience.
Where?
Yankee King? Can I call you Yankee King? Can I just call you Yankee King? I'm gonna call you Yankee King. Manny Octa has probably never had a conversation with Aaron Judge. Manny Octa has probably never had a conversation with Garrett Cole. Manny Octa, I want to know what team Manny Octa managed. Manny Octa, let's see his career. He's been a third base coach. He was the manager of the 2010-2012 Cleveland Guardians, I guess we're gonna call them, and the 2007-2009 Washington Nationals. He has 518 losses to 372 wins. This is the guy.
Yikes.
What are we talking about? I understand that those teams aren't good. But this is...
I retract my where statement with saying the manager's experience, but that experience is not good experience. So...
He's been with the Mariners for a ridiculous amount of time. Why? Who does he know in that Yankee organization?
I mean, you know what? If he's been with the organization for a long time, he must be a very great guy. So
he's a great guy. I'm not saying he's not a good guy, but
so he must be a very great guy. So you know what? I'll shout out Manny Acta in that case. But I mean, to call him as the next Yankees manager, yeah, I'll take a pass on that.
He was in Seattle and Cole's in Houston.
Why does that matter though? It's not the same team. They're different organizations. They may be in the same division, but they're different organizations. That shouldn't matter.
I'm just gonna breathe.
Yeah, just breathe, Ryan.
Breathing action. The only reason that Aaron Boone's the manager is because of 2003. That's it. And Yankee fans got a hard on being the Red Sox. I don't think that 2003 isn't a reason why he's hired. But what Yankee fan was clamoring for Aaron Boone to be the manager? Do you realize that most fans don't give a shit or know anything? The teams he had sucked. No good players. They were all in the bleeping minors. Yankee King, I want to ask you something. So
this would have been fun if we were on Twitter Spaces tonight.
Yeah. So just wanted to ask, is it Boone's fault that Marwin Gonzalez was on the fucking roster in the postseason, that Aaron Judge didn't hit, that Matt Carpenter stunk?
Playing.
Yeah,
Josh
he played
Donaldson
a game. He only
playing.
didn't keep playing because he got hurt.
Yeah. I forgot Hicks got hurt in the postseason, honestly.
I just want to understand.
When hiring managers, they consider two things. Okay, they consider their baseball mind, of course, and their of course experience. But sometimes experience won't always make a difference if you impress in the other aspects, such as relationships with players. The way you handle stress. They test how you handle stressful situations and postseason situations and stuff. They test you on that. They don't just say, "Okay, here you go. You like the players, so here you go. You're hired." No, they make sure that you're equipped for this. They don't just hire anybody. There's a reason they have an interview process for it. And I guess, Boone impressed really well in that interview process and they said, "Okay, great. You're hired. You're the next manager of the New York Yankees," which, you applaud him for that. And it's not like, we've gotten to know Boone very well over these past few years and he's obviously a great dude, great guy. He gets along with the players. Yes, he has his moments as a manager where you question why he's, still in this job, but at the end of the day, it's not like he's some schmuck, you know. You know what I mean?
This is you
I don't
and
think he undeservingly got the job.
you and the Yankee
If
Clipper
it
make
doesn't
really
work
good
out, it
points
doesn't
here.
work out. Not all managers work out for teams, You can't win the World Series every year. You can't. And sometimes you get in a drought, and sometimes you just don't find the right guy to end that drought. Maybe that
Sometimes
happens with Boone. Maybe it works out with Boone. Who knows? That's still to be known because he's still here. But you know, it happens. It's part of the process. The league is getting tougher these days, like I said earlier in this stream. It's not just like a cakewalk for the Yankees anymore. Teams are getting better. The league's getting overall younger, so fresher legs are coming out, and guys are getting better at the sport. It's tough.
yeah.
You can only do so much when it's getting tougher.
You know what? You know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a deep breath. We're gonna take a deep breath together, guys. Today, the Yankees have a chance to win the series. Go into a match with San Diego. I'll be there for the first game of that series. I'm gonna go play defense on Zach Campbell, and the Yankees are gonna have a really nice thing. Tomorrow's gonna be a competitive game. It should be
Have a
fun.
woosah, Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna do some yoga, get stretched out, throw a pen, get myself ready, work on some lateral drills, some quickness drills, get myself ready to play some great defense. And there's one question Marcus Valdez asked earlier that I want to actually talk about. Cole's strikeout rates dropping is definitely concerning for me. I think that's not a good sign. He's got to start striking guys out again. It's been bad for the strikeout numbers compared to what we're used to for Garrett Cole. What do you think?
And he started off the season leading the league in strikeouts after his first 3 starts. I don't know what's happened since.
Yeah,
So,
it's scary. This is not fun. But hey, I think he can turn around, but it's got to happen soon. It's kind of
of
my
course, it's the ace. You always can rely on him.
exactly. But he's got to start striking guys out. Strike guys out, please.
Of course, and not give up home runs, please.
Yeah, please strike out guys, please. I just
Please
need
don't give up
strikeouts.
home runs.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's a good point for us to wrap up. I also have to go to bed soon because I have a very long day tomorrow. I don't think I'm gonna sleep tomorrow because I have a bus at 6 a.m. So I probably have to leave my apartment around 5. So I don't even know and I have work. So I don't know if it's like even beneficial for me to sleep at that point. I might just like stay up. Like, because now,
what's the post game plans for tomorrow? We doing Twitter Space? We coming back on here?
We'll probably do a space.
Figure this would be a good time to announce it.
Yeah, I'll probably do a space because there's unless something happens where a rain delay occurs with like the Yankees again, then sure we could do a live. But I'm probably gonna be walking home from work, so yeah, we'll probably have to do a Twitter space. Morning Brew Sports, the Yankee Clipper. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Sarah, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you guys giving us so much love and so much support. We're gonna do a lot. So to clarify, we're gonna do a Twitter space tomorrow. And then Friday's weird because I'm gonna be actually at the game, so I probably won't be like I probably won't be around in general. Like I'm gonna be.
We'll workshop something with that. We'll figure that out. But
yeah, Friday's gonna be a weird day.
But after technically today's game, but I always say tomorrow because I haven't slept yet.
Right.
But after tomorrow's game, the next game against Baltimore, we'll do a Twitter space and let you guys talk. So
yeah,
that one should be a fun one. I think you guys will enjoy that, and make sure to follow us both on Twitter, and of course follow Fireside Yankees.
Yeah. And we're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and we're on obviously YouTube as well. For audio versions of podcasts we have Apple Podcast and Apple Podcasts and Spotify is our platforms for audio podcasts, which we do, in the mornings, all that stuff. So you guys can check that out as well. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys so much. Have a great night and peace out. I don't know how to press buttons. There we go.